Guys, I think we need to talk about tire casing again.
Oh man, come on. How many times do we have to talk about this?
Also, everybody knows that downhill casing is the way to go if you want to avoid punctures.
Yeah, but dude, they're so heavy.
Surely there's a compromise between heavy and easy to puncture. I've ridden a full summer season of bike park on downhill casings and I have not had a single puncture. I bet you guys can't even do a full day on technical and rough trails without getting a flat. Following this barely concealed insult, Trail Charlie and Enduro Charlie decided to head down to Paganella Bike Park in South Tyrol, Italy. The resort has a variety of trails, ranging from blue flow trails to double black. For this test, the trio have chosen Continental Cryptotol in soft compound. The tires have been tested extensively in a variety of bike parks this summer, and not a single flat to report. Today we'll put them to the test and see if they're necessary, or if we can get away with an enduro or even trail casing. This video is not sponsored by Continental. We just thought it'd be fair to be running the same brand on all three casings. The test will be done on a Mondrica Super Foxy, 170mm travel up front and 160mm travel at the rear. This is also the bike that Downhill Charlie has been riding all summer.
To prove Downhill Charlie wrong, we'll be riding a series of technical and rocky trails, sometimes at low speed in the Paganella Bike Resort. It does stay within the range of hard blue to early black kind of trails, nothing too hectic. And for the safety and physical integrity of all Charlies, I will be wearing a Downhill kit today.
So I'm getting into a track, it's called Easy Rider, and as you will see pretty soon, it's pretty bloody rocky. I'm gonna try to actually give this tire a bit of hell. Hope my GoPro at the back is surviving, which I'm not sure it is. This is like, yeah, pretty rocky, but like, there's no like huge compression. I've got to say, this trails are absolutely sick. By the way, I'm kind of not my lightest at the moment, probably about 95 kilos. Holy shit, that is slidey. Yeah, if tires can withstand my big on the tire going through this, there's a good chance yours too. Jesus. Okay, it's rained last night. This is real slidey. Okay, so obviously I'm not running inserts to not make the test irrelevant, because inserts kind of change the tire stiffness, like how you react. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus. All right. The first problem, so I think I actually pulled that tire off the rim there. So as you can see, like, the tire's completely bulged on that landing, really, which, yeah, it's interesting to see that it didn't puncture on any of the rocks, but it completely bulged. I just checked the rim's straight, so that's definitely the tire. And you can see here, there's some sealant that actually came out. You can feel it, like when you move it, compared to like a downhill tire. I haven't really tried the Enduro one yet, but compared to a downhill tire, like, it's really soft on the side. So like, I feel like there's just no support. Interesting to see how that folded under my weight. Arguably, I'm not the lightest rider, so I feel like if you're riding a little less hard and you're not as heavy, might be less of an issue. But yeah, you can see the tire here is completely out of shape. Obviously, I'm gonna go and give that bike to Enduro Charlie so he can test the Enduro tires, because I don't feel very comfortable now riding with a bike that I know can fold under me.
Oh man, that's tough. I did half a run and I completely folded the tire. I could feel in the top section that I wasn't getting too much support in the berms, like the tire was moving under me quite a lot. It's good for grip, but it made the bike feel a bit fleety. And landing that jump, the tire completely folded under me. It felt like I buckled the wheel and I almost went over the bars. Maybe trail casing truly are limited to less aggressive riding, down country, and probably lighter riders as well. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Let me fit those Enduro tires on the bike and give Downhill Charlie a run for his money. All right, good luck. Am I going to be able to beat the tire with a 19 euro pump from Decathlon?
Okay, we are going for round 2. We now have the Enduro casing tires on, and I can already feel there's a bit more support in this cornering section. Like the tire feels less soft in a way. So we're at the same pressure. I'm up 1.5 at the front, which is 22, and 1.8 at the back, which is 26. That's what I always run, even with my downhill tires. And I'm going to try to basically hit as many rocks as I can. This trail is actually super fun, well shaped. Good job from the guys at Paganella Bike Park. Obviously I'm trying to put a bit of pace in there, so kind of put the tires to test. That is sketchy. Jesus. Whew. My hands, bro. Dude, that's a tough job. I wish I was sitting down in an office. Holy shit, that is slippery. I think I need new grips. Really. Whoa. Oh, that hit pretty hard. Don't know what that was, but a solid hit. Oh well, here we go. That didn't last very long. One single hit on the rear tire, and here you go, punctures. Look at that. So I didn't get a single flat tire the whole downhill season. On, you know, I've done La Trille, which is like super rocky. I've done like a lot of Port de Soleil. I've done a lot of riding this summer on the same tires, so Conti, but downhill casings, and I did not get a single flat. See, there is like a hole on the sidewall there. Probably a slash from that semi-big hit I got. I'm gonna try to show you, but it's a bit gross. Yeah, so see that there? That's the hole. And I think that's from that little pinch. I put my rear wheel in between two rocks and it kind of like got caught in there. There's a little bit of a hit down the rim, see? So that means I probably just kind of hit the tire on the side and it just slashed the sidewall basically. That is the big difference between a downhill tire and an enduro tire, is that if you touch the side of a downhill tire, it's like rock solid. It's just a shame, but this thing's punctured. I didn't bring any slugs with me, so I think I'm gonna have to just ride back on the flat tire.
Man, that sucks. I went well, but then my rear tire got stuck in between two rocks and I completely slit the sidewall. Tires felt good at the start. I could negotiate corner and speed. The tires felt sturdy even through the rough sections. I even hit a bunch of rocks on the way down and I had no issues. It felt nice. However, I feel like I put my rear tire in a V-shaped rock and it cut the sidewalls and I was flat within seconds. I guess the main difference between the enduro casing and the downhill casing really is that sidewall resistance when you go through rough stuff at speed. It felt like when it was a bit slower and just kind of like technical, the tire was fine, but as soon as you could put more speed, I feel like the sidewall just cannot resist those bigger hits. Oh man, he's going to lecture us again. We'll never hear the end of this. Hey, I'm the guy that was right. So we did this test just to see if downhill casing were really necessary depending on the type of riding you're doing. Yes, the trails were pretty rough. Yes, I was in a resort. I was trying to do as many laps as humanly possible to test those tires. What came out is that potentially if you're riding more down country or somewhere where there's less rocks and less jumps where it's a bit low speed, the trail casing might do the job. And as a heavier and probably a bit more aggressive rider, I really didn't love the flex that this trail casing had. Like you just push really hard in a corner and you felt like the tire was trying to kind of come off the rim a little bit. The enduro casing felt way better on the riding, I thought. Actually held well in corners. In the rough stuff, it didn't move too much. I felt like the bike was behaving well. However, the issue is clearly the sidewalls. If you're a heavier rider, that you're riding somewhere rocky, or you're an aggressive rider, there's a point in time where you're gonna go and hit a rock a bit sideways or in the wrong angle and it's gonna slit the side, which is something that has not happened a single time in 2 or 3 months of Euro riding with downhill casing. So for my style of riding, I find downhill casing to be worth the extra weight and the extra pain it is to put them on, because try to put on one of those new downhill tires with the stiff sidewalls, it is like an hour job for 2 tires. It is actually really hard. If you're riding in areas that don't have any rocks, maybe it's a bit more sandy, a bit more rooty, I would definitely consider an Enduro casing. For the trail casing, I think it probably works if you're doing some down country, if you're doing some very light Enduro places where there's not too many jumps and the speed's not too high. However, I wouldn't run that places where you're going to go at high speeds or you're trying to go into corners pretty hard. I hope you enjoyed this video by me and the other Charlies today. We put everything on the line at Paganella Bike Park, and I hope that you got some really insightful information about this tire carcass and what to pick for your next ride. I'll see you in the next video.